His Excellency, the President of Ghana, other distinguished heads of state, ministers, members of the diplomatic community, media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, allow me to thank the organizers, His Excellency, the President of Ghana, and the people of Ghana for graciously hosting my delegation. We're indeed very grateful for this opportunity to be here. One of the things I want to recognize very early is that Africa has been a place of fearless leadership. And recently, South Africa reminded us. We sit today in a region where 30% of the world's mineral reserve reside, 8% of the world's natural gas, 40% of the world's gold, and 90% of the world's chromium and platinum. The largest reserve of diamond, platinum, uranium, 65% of the world's arable land, and 10% of the planet's internal renewable fresh water source. That is what the region possesses. How are we going to deploy this to solve the global issues surrounding climate security, energy security, food security, and human transformation? We have been blessed in this region with the natural assets to provide the solution. We have been blessed with the brain power to provide the ideas and the policies that can lead to the solution. What is required is a commitment to action. The issue of foreign direct investment, economic sovereignty are important issues that we must address. Today, I want to thank His Excellency and the government of Ghana for their strong support in helping us as we continue to build the institutional and structural arrangement in this new sector. In the theme you're examining today, it speaks to value-added production. Africa has already developed a template for increasing the value added to its production. The Continental Commodity Strategy has been developed within the framework of the Africa Union's Agenda 2063. But what we need is to ensure the institutions and system work to achieve this objective. The CARICOM experience underscores that integration is not a fixed destination, but an ongoing and evolving process. Integration demands time, patience, and a ceaseless commitment in nurturing collaborative framework. As the sitting chair of CARICOM, I cannot leave this podium without pointing out some important facts. That is, less than 0.1% of African export is destined for Caribbean countries in 2020. The share of exports from Africa to the Caribbean trended downwards since 2015. The share of export from the Caribbean to Africa also displayed a similar trend since 2015. The continent also accounted for less than 1% of Caribbean exports. Trade between Africa and the region is highly concentrated around primary minerals. More than 40% of the Caribbean exports to Africa are chemicals. These are things that we need to fix. The opportunities are there for massive increases in the trade between Africa and the Caribbean. But there are things that we have to fix. We have to fix the trade barriers. We have to fix the issues of transport and logistics. We have to fix the rules between ourselves that will help to stimulate trade and advance trade between our countries. Three more things. One, how do we position Africa in the global system? And this is what we must do. We have to examine this question. How do we position Africa in the global system to be more resilient, sustainable, and competitive? And my dear friend from Ethiopia addressed some very fundamental issues. We must show to the world that we can produce the best system of governance, that we can produce democratic societies, and that we can stand at all times on the side of the rule of law and democracy. And that would allow us to demonstrate that we are serious about ensuring Africa is resilient, sustainable, and competitive. How do we build a winning culture? Adapting to changing business environment. And Professor Orama has been leading by example, unlocking more than $3 billion of investment for the Caribbean through the Afri-Exim Bank. And we need to applaud him and applaud what the Afri-Exim Bank is doing. Groundbreaking work, leading by example, taking the time to come to the Caribbean, taking the time to work with CARICOM. These are the things we need to do. Invest the time, invest the ideas, and break traditional ground. And we have started this process. How do we build a winning culture? Today, in this forum, I want to recommend that we seriously examine the issue of technology, AI, digitization, and robotics. How do we empower systems and institutions? And I spoke to my dear friend, His Excellency, the President of Ghana, to take the leadership to ensure that we get the ACP back up and running, functional. The ACP plays an important role, and we must ensure that the ACP is operating at its optimum so that we can exert more influence globally. We need to reposition the ACP. We need to reorient the ACP, and we need to rebuild the ACP into a stronger institution. On food security, we cannot have 65% of the arable land and not be the leader on the issue of food security, and not be developing the policies and the framework that would lead to a world in which food security is addressed, in which hunger is addressed, in which poverty is addressed through food security and the production of food. We must be on that table providing the leadership. On the issue of human transformation, how do we ensure that training, retraining, realigning of our human resource asset is done to meet what the world requires and what our economy requires? Importantly, I want to close that we cannot leave without addressing a very important issue. How do we build trust among ourselves? We cannot work together if we don't trust each other. We have to build trust among ourselves at the political level and at the level of the private sector. I want to close by saying what we should do is to recreate the narrative, recreate the global brand of who we are, redefine who we are in the global brand, because that is what is going to ensure we're taken seriously, and we want the world to know that they must take us seriously. I thank you and God bless you.